Visit arborday.org. See how together we can plant our future.
NewsView, a look at some of the news of note with Michael Badger from Champaign-Urbana, Illinois.
Hello and welcome to Champaign-Urbana's NewsView from Champaign-Urbana, Illinois, USA. I'm Michael Badger. Tonight's top story took place in Danville and is a fire burned down a house, killing 2 little girls. Police say that 4 children were inside the house and it was an accident. Excuse me. And 2 boys and their parents made it out safely, but 2 girls ages 5 and 4 were pronounced dead, according to WICD News Channel 15. And our next story, 2 packages in Maryland government buildings caused injuries to a mailroom employee and another employee when the 2 packages popped, according to NBC News. An official says that 2 people were hurt, like I said, and state police say to NBC News that one of the packages was about the size of a book. But when it was opened, it emitted smoke, but the packages weren't they weren't quite as dangerous as they could have been, and thankfully only 2 were hurt. And we now go to the next story. That parts of the Constitution were left out in the new House's reading of the Constitution today, or yesterday, according to the Washington Post. Text from the Constitution, like the 3/5 compromise, was left out. The representatives and taxes shall be appointed among several states was left out. The direct election of senators that was changed by the 17th Amendment, which was ratified in 1913, left out from Article 1, Section 3. The Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state, chosen by the legislature thereof for 6 years, and each senator shall have 1 vote. And some other things were left out too. You can go to the Washington Post's website for more on that. And more from the Washington Post. Timothy Geithner, the Treasury Secretary, says that if we don't raise the debt limit or ceiling, we will have a national catastrophe. He says that two lawmakers, that they should do this because the debt could hit the legal limit on federal borrowing as soon as March 31st. and said to them to act quickly to avoid a government default that would spark catastrophic economic consequences that would last for decades. President Obama says he's dedicated to developing a deficit reduction plan, which could include sharp cuts in spending. But the Treasury officials said that work on reducing the deficit should separate from talks over debt limit because the national debt's critical importance to the American economy, because it is. And the next story is our sports for today. Stanford star quarterback Andrew Luck is returning to Stanford for another season, according to MercuryNews.com. His announcement comes while Jim Harbaugh, the coach, is weighing offers from the 49ers and Miami Dolphins. Luck is a sophomore who led the Cardinals to a historic season and victory in the Orange Bowl Monday night. And Luck says he wanted to graduate before turning pro. So he will stay on at Stanford as a football player. Stay tuned for more news after this break. And the news story that's up next is that the former Huffington Post CEO, Betsy Morgan, is going to start working for Glenn Beck's new website, The Blaze. And she was president at the Huffington Post until departing in 2009, and she says, quote, "I am a very apolitical person. I'm a business person who is absolutely fascinated by brands," is what she told the Times. And this story is by Dan Jury, but we also have a story here on BusinessInsider.com saying that the Wire has learned that Beck has also got Huffington Post's HR manager Jackie Greene now to work for his site, The Blaze, which is named for Moses burning bush in the Bible. And the Huffington Post, as you may know, was the left's answer to the Drudge Report, started by Arianna Huffington, the conservative turned liberal media person. And so now Glenn Beck has hired 2 people from the Huffington Post, I think 2 people from the Huffington Post, to work for his site, theblaze.com. And the next story, 725 new California laws posted on the internet has drawn 570 comments and counting. There's probably a lot more than that now, I don't know. But on New Year's Day, Californians woke up with 725 new laws, which is kind of low compared to other years when they had 9 or 100 or more. But a story online that highlighted a few of those laws drew almost as many comments as the laws to La Mesa Patch. As of 6 p.m. Monday, the story written by Poway Patch editor Hoy Quach boasted 570 comments, a record for the Patch network of hyperlocal news sites, which now exceeded 700 across America. And that's a quote from powaypatch.com or poway.patch.com. And the record traffic was driven by the Drudge Report, and the story was headlined, "There Ought to Be a Law, Californians Getting 725 New Ones in 2011." But was rendered by Drudge as "Happy New Year, California enacts 725 new laws." The link was at the top of the Drudge Report homepage throughout the day Sunday, and originally published on Poway Patch. The story was reposted on more than 100 Patch sites in California. So the laws, you can read more, by the way, on powa.patch.com. That's poway.patch.com. And stay tuned for weather and more. Weather for Champaign-Urbana, Illinois, online at newsviewtv.com. You can see, or Newsview TV 6. Anyway, at newsviewtv.com you can find links to weather from across the country right now in the U.S. and as well as local weather for Champaign-Urbana, like is coming up next here on Newsview. Thanks for watching. Welcome to your Newsview weather forecast for the weekend. And tonight, Friday night, a low temperature will get down to 15 degrees Fahrenheit with snow. Saturday, a high temperature of 21 degrees Fahrenheit with snow. Saturday night, a low temperature of 13 degrees Fahrenheit with partly cloudy skies. And on Sunday, a high temperature should reach 25 degrees Fahrenheit in Champaign-Urbana with partly cloudy skies. And Sunday night in Champaign-Urbana, mostly cloudy skies with a low of 12 degrees Fahrenheit.